Self-Publishing Podcast, episode number 129.
This episode of the Self-Publishing Podcast is brought to you by 99 Designs, the online marketplace that helps you get outstanding book cover designs at an affordable price. Start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP. Enjoy a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99.
Welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, where if you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. And now, here are your hosts, the three whitest guys at podcasting, Johnny, John, and Dave.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, the podcast that follows three full-time authors as we attempt to change the face of indie publishing. Join us and our trailblazing guests as we shove aside boundaries, freely experiment, and occasionally screw up. I'm Johnny B. Truan, and my co-hosts are Sean Platt and David Wright. And as we share our journey with you, remember that despite what some people may tell you, there is no one true path to being a successful writer, and your mileage may vary. Coming up on Landmark Episode 1, number 120, 130. Let's just make sure. Is this the last episode to air before NaNoWriMo? Let's see. Maybe on the actually. Podcast feed? I can't do the math.
No, I don't think so. Because what is it?
We have one more.
It's 17th, yeah. So there would be one more the Halloween episode.
I'm not finding this on YouTube.
I don't know. We have 4 viewers, so some people are finding it.
Our production values are awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the title, if you are on YouTube, if you're one of the 5 who found us in the first 30 seconds as we start 12 minutes late, where we're so pro, is the title is Her, like that's the title. If you look, SPP number 129, 4 question marks. That's because we didn't know what we were going to do when Jacob set up the Hangout, and we decided to do it sort of about setting challenges for yourself, and we're phrasing it in terms of NaNoWriMo. So it just seemed appropriate, and I was thinking about that.
Yeah, so I like the Nano hook, but whether you participate in NaNoWriMo or not, I actually personally have never done Nano, and every year I say, I'm going to do it this year. I think Johnny's once.
I did it once. I produced 50,000 words that went nowhere. It was great. It was before I knew how to. I used to have this problem all the time where my characters would get into a room and then they'd. Do you remember there was a Simpsons episode where Bart decided he was going to use his imagination, and scratchy appear in his head, and they kind of go like this. They kind of shrug. He goes, "Damn TV, you ruined my imagination." Yeah. That's what my characters used to do. They would just sit around and like go, "Huh?" And So I had 50, and I did. I hit 50,000 words, which is the NaNoWriMo goal, and then it's on a hard drive somewhere because nothing happened. What happened? What was that story about?
I really wanted to do it right. I'd never heard of NaNoWriMo until I started Writer Dad, and that was in July. And then I heard, I'm going to do this. It's awesome. And during that time, so I was just way too occupied. And then every year after, I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to do it this year, and I just never ever could. And this year, we're going to do it for Dream Engine 2, but it's like, so we write 50,000 words in a month all the time. But
that's why I think it's so absurd that you've been so up on doing it. I know that it's official,
Yeah, it's a way to tie it in. That's all. But I like that. I still like the whole idea that it's a constraint. It's a goal that somebody can give themselves. I know we should get to this when we actually hit the topic, but I like that. It doesn't have to be about Nano. It just has to be about kind of give yourself a goal and set yourself fences so that you can, stay inside of those fences and meet them. Dave and I had this for our NaNoWriMo was on a weekly basis in 2012. We set ourselves a goal. We're going to publish every week, and
we publish 50,000 words every week. To be fair,
but we hit the 50,000 words a month each.
Oh yeah,
month.
Yeah. But you said a weekly Nano.
Well, the first episodes of Yesterday's Gone were like 24,000. Between 20 and 24,000 words each. So.
No, let's face it, you guys are slackers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we did a slice of Nano each week for like a really big chunk of that year.
Slice of Nano.
NaNoWriMo.
Yeah,
That was the worst thing anyone's ever said.
What is that about? I have a few things on my punch list for today before we really delve into the topic, which is going to be about setting yourself boundaries and restrictions in order to achieve more. But here, you guys can sample you can choose your poison here. So
good.
we can either do I have a voicemail from Lou, and I also think I can probably play the audio from these bloopers that Garrett gave on the Write Publish Repeat.
Oh, I'd love that. That's funny.
I think we should do both.
I also have
we can do both. I was going for the order.
I also have I have a copy blogger article that I think is interesting to the audience that we could talk about too.
Okay. We go Lou first, then whatever.
Okay, Dave, way to step up and make a decision. I like you for that. Okay, so here's Lou. It was a business cutoff question, so we'll find out.
Hi, Johnny, Sean, and Dave. My name is Lou Souter. I'm the author of 3 business books, the most recent of which is Project Management 101. And I'm kind of in a quandary about my genre.
We
played this.
Oh, okay. Well, we're moving right through these. Okay, it's good. I feel like I'm ahead of the game now. It's perfect. Okay, so Lou, go back a week. We answered your question last week. This is good. This is good.
I love it.
I like the momentary deja vu. That was pretty exciting.
I know. I
know we've talked to you before.
All right, so there was that. The thing about playing these bloopers is I need to, it's the same channel as you guys, so I never know when I do this. Hold on, let me turn this up and see if you guys are getting terrible feedback or anything. Okay, so talk or something and see if it's out.
Yeah, right here.
You're fine.
Okay.
I can't hear the other thing you're playing.
All right, so here's the setup on this. So we're recording these Write, Publish, Repeat conversations videos, which Garrett is kind of kicking ass on right now. There's like 31 or 32 of them, and he's just powering through them and editing them up, and he's doing the switch multi-camera POV thing and adding bumpers, and it's going to be a Udemy course that we'll give for free as a bonus with the Fiction Unboxed pre-order, the Fiction Unboxed book pre-order. So we spent 5 days over the course of 2 weeks. So it was 5 separate times that we met, recording these videos in the midst of everything else that we're doing, and it was fun, but it was also grueling in a way, and it was like, by the end, we were just like, oh, fuck's sake, can we just make this one 10 minutes? Because 20 minutes is the limit on Udemy. Can we please make this 10 minutes? What if we had a 7-minute video? Wouldn't that be awesome? And then that's really hard because I don't know if you've listened to the show for a while, but one of us is Sean. And so we would decide, let's just say something once and resist our natural urge to then repeat it in the same way, which I do too. Okay, you just said that, but I'm going to say it again in a different way. And I'm just after, and we'd gone through 20 of these videos without needing any edits. We hadn't.
And this idea to do the Write, Publish, Repeat conversation just didn't even exist a month ago. So it was all a new idea, and we had to do it before this other thing that we're doing it for, and it was very accelerated. And videos each day, and this was towards the end.
Right, and by the end of these, we're just we're trying to get through them, and they're fuck's sake, I want to get on with my day. The reason I'm prefacing this is because I sound like a real fucker in this. And I had to give Robin that disclaimer when I played it for. I was like, this is the end of a really long day. Okay, so here's what happened.
Wait. Okay, well, you're probably gonna say it anyway.
Okay. So we're this is video 7 of the day or something, and every video takes extra time because it has to save, and there's a few minutes of conversation. So this is 2.5 hours in, and we're just exhausted. And I had heard something out in the other room that was something with my kids, and so I get up to go. I get up to just go deal with them, but Sean and Dave are talking in the chat window. I'm like, just keep going. I'll be back in 2 minutes. And because we can't pause, because then the whole video's fucked up if we pause, because it's going to need an edit, and we no extra work, just finish it. And so I get up, and I go and take care of my kids, and it takes a few minutes, and I come back, and Sean and Dave have kept the ball rolling, and Sean is going on, and he's making some good points, so I'm waiting. I'm going to chime in when he's done. But what happened was my video must have frozen, so he's seeing my empty chair, and he thinks I haven't come back yet. Okay, so here's the video. Give this a second to load. Hopefully you guys can hear this.
A lot of times.
Okay, can you hear that? Could you hear that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here we go.
Short term actually ends up hurting your reader because that's not. You just need to.
What? Hold on, I muted it right at the important point.
Oh,
hold on.
Jesus.
What the hell? I was trying to turn the volume up and I muted it. All right, so let's keep going with the pro production values here. Okay, continue.
A lot of times, thinking short term actually ends up hurting your reader because that's not. You just need to. Fucking Johnny, I'm just killing time here. God damn it! What do I say?
I'm right here. God damn it! Are you telling me we now need to edit this video?
Wait,
I'm right fucking here. I'm right here the whole goddamn
he was
time.
here.
Dude, I had
God
an empty
damn it!
chair.
Well, now I don't know what to. It's 15 fucking minutes into the video, and you know Garrett's not gonna. We're gonna have to follow up to make sure he gets this. Okay, so just pausing in the middle of my ranting here. This is live, Johnny. Okay. So I texted these guys later. I said, I love the two major themes are me being totally pissed off and the total and utter lack of faith in Garrett's ability to follow through. So just so you know, like that's what all of this is. I'm like, he's not gonna catch it.
No. Yeah, he can edit this one. Just take the ball for.
But
I'm so sorry, dude. I just saw.
He's not gonna. Oh, we're not gonna remember that video 21 has an edit in the middle, and he's gonna mess it up.
Can't we make a note right now?
So Garrett, obviously, the part where Sean just spontaneously in the middle of a good point said, "God damn it, Johnny, fucking Johnny," that needs to be edited out.
No, that needs to be made into a commercial.
Yeah.
The Udemy commercial. The blooper reel.
So what is there anything that can be salvaged in what you just said?
I don't even know what I just said.
I think
it was fine until you suddenly stopped mid-sentence and yelled at me. I thought I wouldn't have thought there was anything amiss. I was actually waiting for you to stop so I could tie it back in.
Okay.
My total and utter lack of patience or understanding, and that was fantastic. I haven't listened to the other ones. Are they good? Are these ones where we insult various races, or did we keep it up?
No. The most offensive thing, I think, is the fact that you guys said "God damn it" like 5 times, and I didn't even think about it. I was playing it for my wife last night, and she just looked at me like.
Oh yeah, actually that reminds me of the guy who said that we had messed up his phone. We had made his phone do a search, and we said during podcast, Siri, look up the closest strip club. Siri, can you the closest strip club? Because then people in their cars, their iPhones, will find various insulting things. He somehow
Siri, look up. Never mind. I won't even do it.
He came up with a search for scantily clad overweight women was something we said somehow got. Okay, so here's the next one. Loading. Load.
I'm like a 60-year-old woman.
I'm going to pull the audio. Oh wow, that was a great Dave one. Saying I'm a 60-year-old woman, and keep that.
Yeah, that was nothing.
That wasn't a very good one. Come on, get quality control here on your bloopers. All right. Yeah, I don't know what he's
got. It wasn't a blooper.
Wasn't a
stating facts.
All right, so this is another blooper 04. And that's a much better funnel. So Dave, do you want to go into how exactly we use free? Oh, you can't see that one.
Just said it, but forget it. No more. That was a visual one.
That was visual. Sorry, guys.
That's it. It's done.
Yeah, okay. I'll stop on this because people are getting really, really bored. But in that one, Sean knows the camera isn't on him, and so he's making like blowjob faces and stuff.
Very professional.
We made a version where.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Good.
We have a question. Well, we have a comment. Garrett says, "I'm dying laughing already. I lost it when I edited this." Dylan Perry says, "Is there a release date for the Fiction Unboxed book?"
Yes.
December
Yes,
3rd.
but we won't tell you.
Yeah, it's December 3rd. It's December 3rd. We'll get it up on pre-order pretty soon, and but December 3rd is the actual date.
The actual release date. In other exciting news, I was really, really pleased today in my email to, if you guys want to see a difference in audiobook stuff, audiobook quality, we've done a bunch through ACX. We've done stuff with just narrators that we found that we didn't know ahead of time. We've done ACX stuff with Simon Whistler from this Rocking Self-Publishing podcast with the British voice. We've done ACX works with Ray, and now. Well, these guys already had one, but the Beam Season 1 through Podium audiobooks is available now. Is it pre-order or is it?
No, it's live. Have you listened to it yet?
No, I haven't had a chance because I'm going to listen to it before I write Season 3.
That's what I'm waiting for too. I want to listen because the other one's recorded too, so I want to listen to them back to back and then hit beats.
Right. So it's I made a quick link if anyone wants to check it out. It's selfpublishingpodcast.com/beam S1, S for season.
But yeah, this is the same team who did Yesterday's Gone, and that was fantastic. That's where we met Ray, and Ray is actually in the Beam also.
It's right. It's an ensemble thing. It's this one lists 8 people, but I think that Greg told us that the total cast for both seasons is something like 16 or 20 or something. It's a lot.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Narrators. So I'm really excited to listen to it, but I haven't had a chance yet.
I think I want to listen to a bit just because. Like, I won't listen to the whole thing, but I want to listen to a little bit just because I'm dying to know what they did.
There's some awards thing. What the hell was it called? I forgot.
It was the best post-apocalyptic audiobook of the year.
It's nominated for like best cast recording or something.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. It deserves it. It was a really, really great production. And that's one of those cases. It's actually, this is kind of interesting because you have that, and I mean, clearly, our royalty is not the same with Podium as it would be us doing it in-house, through ACX, either with profit share or paying outright. But with both Yesterday's Gone and The Beam, these are big stories with really big casts, and the quality of work that we're going to get is so much better with a company like this than we could do ourselves. So it's not a money decision. It's a portfolio decision. You want the quality of your work to be as well articulated as possible, so you give it to people who can do a much, much better version of that. It's almost like, clearly the economics of it are different, but I mean the artistic decision is almost like, signing your book to have a movie made of it, because the work is being interpreted by actors and actresses, and that's pretty cool.
I think that a smart artist lets those lets them interpret it too. I think you want control over your work for sure, but we told Ray for the Dream Engine, like, if you think that a word combination sounds funny, actually we said for just about anything, feel free to change it. Now we're just talking about changing a few words just so that, like he said, I forget, there was a favorite that he hates when they like grasped and then followed by something else sounds really weird. And he was like, really? And I said, I'm talking about changing like 2 words, Ray. Well, nobody lets us do that. I'm like, you're the audio guy. Why would we presume to know better than you on audio?
Right, and remember, it's so true, because David Lawrence was saying the same stuff when he was on, right? That it's they want to perform it, and if they do a better job with the book, it's a better thing. People would come to him and they'd want to micromanage it. They'd want to say, no, it needs to sound exactly like this, and he's like, well, then why don't you read it? And I think that that's important. If you have to think of people like that as your partners and not your employees, and like, how are they're the artist, you're good at writing your book, you're good at making up the story, but they perform for a living. That's what they do, and you should trust their instincts.
I was actually speaking. I think this speaks to knowing what you want out of a decision, and a lot of people I think don't think that. They think they sort of default to is this a good or bad decision without looking at context. And actually, just this morning, just before we got on, we don't want to go into a lot of detail on this, but I'll just mention it. I was pinging Sean about like there's something that we've we've toyed with. Just a traditional deal. Like we have a chance to make a go for a traditional publishing deal. That's we have a connection there, and we sort of said, nah, I don't know. And this is Sean and I. This isn't a Collective Inkwell work, but we said, well, I don't know. I think we want the control over it. Now I'm like, I think it's worth discussing because it would be a portfolio thing, like traditional.
Yeah, it's totally worth the discussion, but I think when you have that kind of discussion, you really want to have a bird's eye view. You don't want to you don't want to make that decision like, oh, I'm right now, I'm wrapped up in the immediacy of now, what feels good now, because sometimes there's delayed gratification.
Not what you're thinking of, but that's not. It's a strategic. I think it's worth the discussion, and I'm not saying it for the reason you might think. Anyway. Okay, well,
let's be cryptic.
That discussion.
Yeah,
that was great. We've been really, really helpful today. We've been
a
really,
lot of question marks. Okay, well let's bring this home because I think that this Copyblogger article is interesting for authors.
Am I allowed to mention the chat thing?
Yeah, you can if you want. At this point it's only a conversation. But
And I won't. We're being cryptic enough. Go ahead with your Copyblogger article.
Okay, so the title of the Copyblogger article is "Why Copyblogger is Killing Its Facebook Page," and I think this is really interesting because they're deleting their Facebook account, and they have 32,000 likes on it, and interesting because social media is treated oftentimes as this one-size-fits-all solution. And I think that you really have to, whenever you're doing something in social media, you really have to see how it fits into everything else that you're doing. And Facebook is the go-to. Of course you have to be on Facebook. And even internally with Sterling and Stone, we've had several meetings lately about social media, going back a couple months ago, and we're constantly trying to refine our strategies. And Facebook has always been at the front for us. And of course, if we're only going to pick one, it would have to be Facebook. And I still believe that. I still believe that for us, that probably is the most important platform to be on, and on and on. But I think it's really interesting that Copyblogger, despite having likes, is deleting their account because they actually went in and said, what benefit are we getting from this platform? How engaged are people? How much do they share? When they do share, do the people they share with click on our links? We only have so much time in the day. Should we be dividing it of a lot of luck and things go very well for us, or divide that time between Google Plus and Facebook where we don't really get a return at Facebook? Does it make more sense to concentrate our efforts? And it's not by any stretch am I suggesting that anybody delete their Facebook account. That would be absurd. But I think that it's a really, really great lesson, and it's probably worth reading, just because I think that we don't ask why enough. We don't ask why we're doing things because we've heard that social media is great, or we've seen this author over here have a lot of success with social media, so we assume that can transfer to us. And no, it's because of the way they use Facebook. It's the way that their audience responds to Facebook. And we all are different creators, and we all have different audiences. And what you need to do is look at the unique DNA of who you are as an artist and who pays attention to your art, and then pick the platform or platforms that are most suited to and for Copyblogger, they've looked at all the data and they said, you know what, Facebook, it may be the biggest platform out there, but still for us there isn't a return. And I think that authors should think that critically about their behavior and what they're doing and where they're spending their time.
Today's post?
I think so. Someone sent it to me, so I don't know what the actual publication date is, but the person who,
Out October 17th, 2014 on
the person who sent it to me, I think that it would you. So I would say it was today's post.
All right, fantastic. Well, let's move into talking about constraints and NaNoWriMo, and I believe in putting the cart before the horse. So, speaking of NaNoWriMo, Dave, what do you do once you've got? I'm sorry, I believe in putting the horse before the cart. Apparently, like I just forgot. What do you do after you've got your book written? I just got confused there. You probably want to make a book cover yourself, right?
Well, that depends. Do you want to sell your book?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just spent a bunch of time making this book. I don't want to just have it sit there unread.
Well, unless you're a designer, the last thing you want to do is also spend time creating a book cover.
Oh, I've never heard this position from you before. I mean, we don't know any cover designers, do we? What hope do you have in competing with all the awesome book covers that are out there today?
Easy. You don't have to do it. You go to 99 Designs. They've got tons of designers waiting to deliver you a professional quality design in less than half the time you just took to write your book. And they make the process super easy. And we're all about easy, right?
Super easy.
So you start off by filling out an online brief with details about your book cover. Then dozens of designers compete to deliver you the best design.
Okay.
After the initial designs, you pick the ones you like, and then you give feedback to the designers to help them refine their work, and then you get to pick the winner. And you can even
winner,
yeah, but you can get your audience to help you. You get your readers involved in the process of choosing your design, and that that makes it more excited when the book comes out. We use 99 Designs several times now for book covers and our Sterling and Stone logo. Oh, would you just shut up? And we've always been super impressed with both the quality and the speed at which we get our designs created. I highly recommend 99 Designs, and the best part is that 99 Designs offers a 100% money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Nothing.
Psychic. Nothing at all. So start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP and enjoy a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99. A Power Pack upgrade makes your design contest stand out from the crowd. 99 Designs will bold your listing, highlight it with a prominent background, and feature it before regular listings. And I would go so far as to say that if you know of this Power Pack upgrade and you don't use it, then, well, I don't want to cast aspersions, but let's just say you're not very smart. So definitely visit 99designs.com/SPP.
You calling these people an idiot? Idiot?
Well,
Hey, I actually have a 99 Designs story, like a real life 99 Designs story.
that's a favorite category of literature.
Yeah, no, this is somebody that I know that has a traditional deal, a big six-figure traditional deal, and they got their cover. They didn't like what the art department was doing, and they've got an $1,100 cover from like a full, like a contest private, and they used the like premier designers, and like I guess did the full all bells and whistles contest that you can do on 99 Designs, but they paid out of pocket for the cover because they just wanted one that they weren't happy with what their traditional publisher was doing. And it's actually a pretty simple cover. The typography is very eye-catching and very, very gorgeous. But it came from 99 Designs instead of the traditional publisher art department.
So take that, traditional publishing art department.
Yeah, we're gonna have them do another have them do another logo for us. So that'll be fun.
That will be cool.
Spontaneously want to play this.
And now, incredibly horrible, deprecating, embarrassing, but memorable ad read, only from our hosts, Johnny and Dave, because Sean always
I don't use
Take
that.
it away, boys.
I don't use that one very much. I might as well play this one.
You're the ad read, aren't you?
You can care about something and think of them as a cum box in sex. You can. You can take
I think I read that in a Hallmark card.
Absolutely.
Yeah, might as well play all the best. So there you go. All right, so moving on to Lexi Maxwell, everybody. Moving on to...
She's such a delicate flower.
She really is. She's LaFleur. So let's move on to talking about NaNoWriMo. So like I said, I did it before, but I don't know how much it's changed. Like we're like, let's do Fiction Unboxed 1.5, do the Dream Engine 2 for NaNoWriMo, and just show everybody. And but I don't like. I think you can join the community, and you can have a little tracker that shows.
Yeah, you get a little badge too, and I think that winning, if you say I won NaNoWriMo, it's just a matter of saying I did it. I completed my 50,000 words, and I think that's how they're qualifying, right? It's a novel is 50,000 words or more, and you're supposed to get that done in November, between November 1st and November 30th.
All right, so there you go, NaNoWriMo, everybody. Let's move on.
I actually tried to write Writer Dad. The first time I tried to sit down and write that book was for NaNoWriMo, and it's pretty funny. This was when I was working with Lori, and if you guys have ever heard me talk about Lori, she's totally crazy town. She'd be the first to admit it. In fact, I think that's like she has a tattoo. This is Crazy Town, but she said. I said, I really want to write it, but we've been so busy lately. And she says, no, you have to write it. You have to write this book. And she gives me this whole like very empowering speech about, I'll make sure you do it. And that lasted like an hour and a half, because then, like, as Dave very well knows, like Lori will send you emails with like 96,000 things to do. And they're all by lunchtime. So I worked on the book for like
someone I know.
I worked on the book for like 3 days and then had to quit.
So what do we consider basically being held accountable? So I'd be interested in seeing a show of hands in the comments of people who have done or are going to do NaNoWriMo. If you're listening to this on the audio feed, I'd be interested in hearing it.
Also raise your hand.
Raise your hand. I won't be able to see you. By the way, I didn't mean literally raise your hand, because I won't be able to see you if you do that either. I meant actually leave a comment. But you could do that in the blog post too for this on sterlingandstone.net, because it'd be interesting to hear like just stories and also like how widespread, how much those communities overlap, like how many of our people have done it, because the reason I like doing Dream Engine 2 and Fiction Unboxed 1.5 for NaNoWriMo is that it's a community that we've largely ignored, and it's a big deal. Like November is when a lot of people say, I'm going to finally write that book. We do write all the time, but for people who want to write and haven't quite gotten there, then having that deadline and having that community and that social support is really super important.
Well, I'm curious as to what makes Nano so special. Is it the community, so you don't feel like you're alone, right? You feel like there's people there they're rowing the same boat as you, right? If you fall down, you have to publicly admit it, and it's like people losing weight together.
I
was just going to say that.
So is it you were going to say accountability or the losing weight together?
The losing weight thing. It is kind of like that.
Yeah, it's like you're joining a community for a month, so it's like everyone's like it's shared victory. Is that what it is? Is it the fact that you can say, okay, maybe it's the defined period of time, because writing every day may sound daunting, but writing every day for 30 days, you have an exit already in mind. It makes it more manageable.
In competition, we can't forget that. I think writing is such a lonely sport, if you want to use that word, that it is difficult to keep yourself motivated, to keep yourself inspired, especially when real life gets in the way. Like I said before, like I was writing several books long before I met Sean, and they all stalled because I had nobody else to hold me accountable or to like really talk with about the books or about the writing process. I was on my own, and I think your goals, unless you're a disciplined person like Sean and Johnny are, but if you're like me, your personal goals don't matter. They seem to like kind of drift away. So when you actually put them out there for the world to see and other people as well, like are doing it at the same time, I think it helps you move forward on your goals.
Well, then I would suggest that a way that we could really use this topic to help and to make things better for writers out there is to think, how can you take the principles of Nano and apply them outside of November so that you are consistent and you are healthy and you are a successful writer and not just 1 month of the year. And something you said just kind of broke my heart a little bit, and it's the my personal goals aren't important, right? Like they don't become important until I have somebody else to bounce them off of. And there are a lot of writers who are lonely and they just have their own desk, and there are people who they can't even talk to their spouses because their spouse isn't interested in what they're writing. They don't really care. And maybe their friends think writing is stupid. Like that's a pretty lonely place to be, and it kind of sucks.
I've been there, especially with friends. Like when I was writing back in the day, my friends were like, "Oh, yeah, keep dreaming there, Dave. You guys keep working that gas station forever, buddy."
So like let's take this away from Nano, because I like that Nano's the hook that we're like, it gave us the reason to do this show, but I think the show is bigger than that. I think the idea is, how can you build that kind of architecture for yourself so that you can inhabit that dome and you can produce. So let's say you don't have a spouse who is into your work and you don't have a group of friends who think what you're writing is cool. How do you get the motivation to write that anyway? How can you and it's not even a 30-day, because let's be real, if you want to write a real great book and you're by yourself, like we're able to write fast, all three of us, because we collaborate. And that greatly accelerates the process. If you're all alone and you're going from concept to final copy that you're going to pass to your editor, a month is not really long enough to do that unless you're writing a short story or something. And so how do you take the momentum and the juice that you would feel in that 30-day period and you're able to create that so that you can develop the writing habit? Because we all agree, even though we may have different levels of production, the three of us all wholeheartedly agree that it's consistent writing that will make you a successful author more than any other one thing.
I would go ahead, Dave.
Oh, Johnny's back. Your chair was empty. I was waiting for Sean to freak out.
Right.
I was about to say.
Now we have to end the podcast. Oh no. Guess we don't.
I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how.
I like that this is the show where we don't actually speak authoritatively on anything, and we wonder what Nano is, and we theorize and what we might.
We know what Nano is.
Okay, Dave.
I wonder why it's good.
Dave, do self-rewards work for you?
I don't know.
Or okay, let me ask you this: like, do
self-hate works for me?
What if somebody told you that after you finish your book, you can go to Red Robin?
Yeah.
Or what if it was more punishment? What if you don't finish your book? Yeah,
that ain't happening. You have to drive to Texas again.
Okay, so
I think everybody has their own different motivations, so I think you have to find the one that works for you.
But do you break covenants with yourself all the time? So let's say
Yes.
Okay. So mechanism to not do that. So for example, let's bring this to weight loss, because I think that's pretty easy for everyone to get their head around. If you are trying to deprive yourself, like that's the worst way to lose weight, is to just be deprivation, because then you feel cheated and then you overcompensate, right? So let's say that you've made a deal with yourself. Okay, I'm not going to eat poorly, or if I get all day and I eat awesome, I'm going to have one cookie at the end of the day, because I've done really, really well, or a half cookie, that's going to be my reward. Will you, even if you cheat, will you have a half cookie anyway?
I'll probably have like 5 cookies.
Right, because then he's got to make up for the feeling of failing.
Eating and writing are, while I understand, the parallels, and it worked for the whole like group effort thing, I think it's slightly different, mechanically speaking, writing.
Okay, when you've had
'Cause I'm not
deadlines,
gonna-
when you've had deadlines,
Yeah.
and now I would imagine the number one thing that's helped you like stay fenced in is because you don't want to disappoint me, right?
Yes.
Like, okay,
Yes.
so that's what it comes down to. Okay, so and this is actually an established cycle between Dave and I. If I pull back and I say, okay, like that's fine, just do your thing, take your time. I'll spend a month with my missus, like right when that happens, Dave all of a sudden will be molasses slow because I've already given him permission, basically. So how do you, because that can't be the solution. Like I like this because I think if we solve this problem for you, we're solving it for a lot of writers out there, because it's not for you, the reward of actually doing it isn't enough. You like it when it's done and you feel proud of your work when it's all done in retrospect, but just getting it done isn't enough for you. It's the external validation you're looking for.
I have a theory, although I was responding to an email from Ray, so you may have just said this, and I might just be repeating it. I feel like Dave doesn't want to disappoint you.
Well, yeah, you said that.
You were in email.
Yeah, well, Ray's like, well, so we're meeting for BOU at 3 p.m. Pacific time, right? And I'm like, no.
Because we're all on your schedule,
so,
Ray.
Sorry. I think what we need to do, let's go to the Roland show, and Sean, I think you need to be very disapproving of Dave, and if he eats that cookie.
Yeah, but then that's see that's not fair to the other partner, because I don't want to be in the nagging role. Like, that sucks, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to have codependent relationships. The best relationships thrive with one another. They're not codependent. Dave should be able to produce because there's and I don't mean to say that there's not joy in his production, because there is. When he's done with something, you can see it on his face. He gets happy. Like, it's exciting for him. But so what is the number one thing that keeps you? So if your number one goal is to not disappoint me, what gives you the fuel beyond that? Like the telling the story, or I'm sorry, what keeps you from that? Is it fear that it's not going to be good enough?
Love writing. I love writing, and obviously I like finishing a book, and I like working. I like brainstorming and all of that. With me, it's I hate deadlines. They make me stressful, and they just fuck up my entire life. Like when I have a crushing deadline, I can't sleep. I eat like shit. It's just like I'm always thinking. I have anxiety about the deadline, and it just makes it worse and worse. I wish there was a way to like not have a deadline but still come in and produce everything. But it's
deadline is necessary for you to produce, and it's terrible at the same time.
Yes, and
so there's no happy medium there, right? Like, yeah.
Well, I'm specifically speaking for me because I have a lot of anxiety, and the closer something comes to deadline, and the farther behind I am, the more pressure I feel, and then I burn out, I get sick, whatever. All these things happen, and it is a horrible thing. I like when I have like a wide open space and I can get it done, but then there's the problem of like motivating me to get it done. And motivation for me is a very tricky thing, because I don't know. I work in creative spurts. It's hard for me to sit down every single day and do and write the words. I do, and I have, but it's difficult, and I don't always want to press through, because when I press through, it still sucks. And a lot of times where I have pressed through, because that's what we tell everyone, well, just get your ass in the seat and keep writing. When I do that, I'll work like 3 days, and I'll look back on it, and every bit of it will fucking suck. It didn't get good, and I'll start all over. So I'm still in the same place I was.
Have you ever? Well, I know at the paper you had to be pretty routine, right? Just because that was the nature of like more of a punching a clock job, right? Where now there's a lot more freedom.
But there were smaller, there were smaller increments. The paper had a lot of the paper was 60, 70 hours a week, and it sucked so much. I loved parts of it, but a lot of it sucked.
Okay, so
they were smaller deadlines, so you could conceive it, like if you're working on a story, a lot of it is research and stuff like that. So a lot of it takes place.
Did you ever put a unicorn in
No.
anything to avoid research.
I have, except for that hard news story that did involve a unicorn, the escaped unicorn story. I have a theory. First of all, I'm just noticing that Dave you talk about, like, he needs to write and hates it at the same time. Like, it just seems it's like that you can't produce without pain. I produce with joy, but Dave seems it's like that pain really is necessary. I think, tell me if this resonates at all. I feel like you don't necessarily like writing, but you like having written. Like, you like having gotten the
exactly
product
right.
out. So do you think
That's not true, because I wrote forever. I wrote all night when I worked.
He likes writing, and he likes having written. He doesn't like having to write when it becomes an obligation.
Yes.
No, it's the obligation. It's almost like
Why don't we free him like a falcon and just be like, Dave will come back if you love something. If you love Dave, set him free. Every once in a while, he'll be having people come in and say, I produced a book.
No, but if you look in the Inkwell's history, those times when he has been the falcon that's flied free, that's when he's gone a little off the rails, right? So we have what Available Darkness Season 2 and Crash. Those were both like really long productions, and it was because they were exactly that. I was like, okay, I'm not going to nag. Just deadlines suck. You do your thing. But it's like Dave actually does thrive under a deadline. It's just miserable.
I hate it.
Right. And so, no, it's so true. And for me, like, I don't want to make him miserable. I won't do it. But then, like, then stuff doesn't get done. So there has to.
It's an interesting situation we find ourselves in.
I don't know. I'm realizing, like, so Dave's options are produce under a deadline, gut it out, and produce stuff that sucks, or be free and don't produce anything, or like there's kind of.
But it doesn't suck. That's his perception. Some of our best.
No, the
work
initial
ever.
stuff sucks.
You aren't seeing
so,
that stuff, Sean. He's throwing it out before you get it. It's going in.
Yeah.
The Bears are going to get to it.
So there's got to be some kind of, because
yesterday's gone outtakes.
Okay, so Dave, has there ever been? Let's get rid of the paper and just talk just with creative work. So really, from Available Darkness on, has there ever been a where the time that you write, the time, location, any metric that you would use to kind of is sustained over a period of time? So it's the same time of day, it's the same look. Well, I guess it's always the same location, right? You always write in your office.
Yes.
Okay, so you're always in the same location. Does the time wildly fluctuate, or is it mostly through the night? Is when your optimum time to write is through the night, and it's harder if you write in the day. That's true, right?
It depends where I am on my schedule. Like, I've been up in daytime recently, so it all depends. And while I can get going at night, I also can get interruptions at night, like when my son wakes up with a bloody nose, and that's like an hour gone right there. Just all these little things that just hopping away. And I really shouldn't even bitch about it, because there's so many people that have demanding schedules than I do that somehow find a way to create. So.
Well, what about food? Does that have anything to do with it? Like, if you're trying to lose weight and I know that when I'm watching what I eat, I think about what I eat a lot, and so like I find myself less able to focus on other stuff because I'm distracted. So do distractions like that, does that impact you?
Oh yeah. Like whenever I'm trying to do anything else, or I got something else in my mind, that fucks with the creative flow as well. So.
And I know another thing about Dave. I think we've talked about this on the show.
This is the Dave show.
Another thing about Dave is that he's always thinking about the project he's not working on.
Yes.
Right.
And I always also, wherever I am, I think about whatever I need to be doing next. So I'm never like ever in the moment, like except like right now because I have to be in the moment to actually have a conversation.
You've never done anything like you're not crazy about it though. You've never like taken a laptop when guests are going out with you to dinner and worked on right?
No, never.
No, that would be absurd.
Awesome.
What was Sean's point about?
Oh well, I'm just trying to think because again, this like I love that this is for you, but I do also feel that if we figure
Save
stuff
the cheerleader, save the world.
yes, exactly. So I like that, and I think that I think that Johnny and I are the aberration here, not you. I think that most people have a hard time finding a consistent time to write. I think most people love having written and they love writing, but don't like having to write. And I think that because we do what we think, sometimes you feel worse than you should. And that's not fair. And if we can figure that out, I think if we can get you to where you're just more naturally productive, and you're saying this is what worked for me and this is what didn't work for me, some of those things are going to transfer to other people who are listening to this right now. And
NaNoWriMo work for you, Dave?
What's that?
Question on the table. Would NaNoWriMo work for you? Like if you weren't with us and you said, well, I'm going to write a novel in NaNoWriMo, I'm going to get involved in the community, would you do it?
I could try.
That's not really.
Yeah, that's the weakest answer ever. That's like asking him if he'll. No. Okay, so
you heard it here, folks. NaNoWriMo does not work.
No, well, I don't think he's naturally that driven to it. He's like, Dave's an isolated writer. The fact that we collaborate is.
I honestly, I know a lot of people feel a sense of pride in having done a book in a month. I could give a fuck. I could give 10 fucks if people like slap me on the back. Oh, Dave, great job on the. I don't give a shit because there are things that feed my ego, but finishing a book in a month isn't one of them. Maybe because we've already written so damn much, it doesn't.
This is like a pandemic movie where they're trying to say, well, this person didn't catch the disease. What is unique about them? And we can figure out. What is it? Because
Dave's patient zero.
You're patient zero. You're a paradox. You have there's no way we could ever get this person to finish a book, and yet you do it all the time. So what is it that's making you finish these books? Is it all Sean? Is it all
Sean with a whip in the corner? Part of it is we have readers, and I want to please the readers. I want to keep our readers, and I want to. I dreamed of this all my life, being able to write for a living, and people would want to read what I write. So that is like living the dream, and that's all. That's all I ever wanted since being a child. So I honor that, and I love that. It doesn't always help me. It's not. It's good for bursts of encouragement and stuff, but it's hard to keep my mind on while I'm actually working, doing this for the readers, doing this. It's a hard day-to-day sort of thing to hold on to and to inspire me.
No, that makes sense.
I think we're approaching this from the wrong end. I think that we're saying, what is it that makes this work for you, Dave? But
we should be obstacle focused. Like what keeps it from working?
The other way around. Is it possible that this actually is a successful way to work, and that any other job literally in the world would be much, much worse? You know what I mean? Maybe our standards are too high. Maybe there is no joy. Is there no joy? It's just the best of the worst options. Is that possible?
I think I forgot what my dad's. Oh, my whenever I used to bitch about any job I had, growing up, my dad would say, "It's a job. You're not supposed to love it."
God, that's what any father has ever given a son.
That's no hero parade.
Oh my God, I would rather punch Ethan in the ear than give him that advice.
Oh, my dad was a very blue-collar guy who basically, worked his ass off to, support us. And he had a job he hated, but it was a job he had to do. And I think a lot of people are like that. They have a job that they hate, but they have to do it. I don't consider myself having a job I hate that I have to do. Not at all. There are a billion jobs worse than what we're doing. This is an awesome job. It's purely a matter. What's that? Your microphone?
Is it possible? Yeah, it's. I feel bad for. Sorry, everybody on the recording. Our upload download speeds are shit today. I don't know what the problem is. I said, is it possible that it's guilt that's driving you, and you have to perform because you have a job that you don't hate, and if you don't perform it, you're spitting in the eye of all those blue-collar people out there?
Well, I have no guilt about blue-collar people. I work jobs I hated forever.
No, you're talking about your good job where you aren't blue-collar.
No. I have guilt if I don't, follow through, and I have guilt for Sean. I have guilt for readers, if I don't do what I need to do. Yeah, guilt drives me a lot. I'm practically Jewish in my guilt.
Wow.
So how do we replicate that for everyone out there in SPP land? How do we make?
I'll need a guilty.
I don't think it's healthy.
Feel guilty. That's what everybody needs, is to feel bad about your mother.
Mother.
Yeah, mothers make you feel guilty, right?
Your mother, Sean, because Dave has opinions on that.
Have we helped anybody today?
No, I really don't think we have. Anyways, so
no, but I've been working on you for 6 years, so I feel like we made a couple millimeters of progress here. This is good.
What about the comments, Dave? Has anybody weighed in on the comments?
I'm checking in on that now. Hold on a moment.
What if we did something? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm serious. What if we did something with our next book where we, Dave? Do you remember Blog to Fit? Well, of course you do. That whole thing.
Yes.
What if we did something like that where we actually, you wouldn't have to share your word count, your word count or your actual raw words. That's not what I mean at all. But where we kind of talked about process, and we tried to get, we tried to get things a little more streamlined and a little more, all the stuff that I'm always, come on, dude, this will be our next project. We'll be systematized, but we actually do that. But because the accountability is part of the. What did you say, Johnny?
I love how I can't say anything without you guys asking me to say it again.
Well, because every time you start to interrupt, your microphone's doing some weird thing, and it doesn't sound. It's fucked up. So.
Oh, awesome. Well, this is good. This is good. At least the recording on my end will be good of my mic. I don't even remember what I was going to say. So there you go.
Well, so same stuff that I'm always saying, but if accountability, matters, and you're looking at, okay, now the SPP audience is kind of looking through the window a little bit. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. So that's why things like word counts and actually raw draft words would not be a good idea, but maybe just sharing our process a little bit and saying this is what worked and this is what didn't. Unless that would feel a little too much like weighing in, which I don't want. I don't want you to feel that way. But do you think that would help you and then help the listeners?
Maybe we can talk about that, further elaborate what exactly you want to do, and yeah, it might be something I'm up for. We do have
Johnny's staying away from his mic, so but in the chat window he just called it Dave Unboxed.
It's a big fucking box. Okay, we got some comments. Quotidian Light says, I attempted Nano several times but finished for the first time last year. A lot of the best, and also because it's sort of a writer's holiday, a lot of people come out that normally aren't active online. The YouTube videos, articles, and tweets tend to be really helpful during November. Word sprints are fucking gold and prevent feeling alone. She also quoted fist bumps Dave on the need a deadline, but deadlines are a horrible thing. Ryan Attard says, I think rewards is what you create the end product. For me, I get excited about what happens later. The next book in this series, potential movie or TV series, a soundtrack, the franchise. I think the end product is just a stepping stone to something bigger. Maybe that helps Dave. JP Howell says, for me, writing is about building a habit and creating momentum. Deadlines also don't work at all for me because they do stress me out too much. When I keep my head down and focus on momentum, I get way more done when I'm thinking about deadlines. Ryan Attard says, hey, Johnny, is the title of your next series Fat Falcon? Chrissy Moss says, personally, I love publishing. That's what keeps me going. The idea that eventually I can hit publish on that book and that other people enjoy it. Till then, it's a long slog to the end. I enjoy parts like writing the plot down, but other parts are miserable, like forcing myself to finish a tough battle scene. It's learning to love writing those parts that's making writing easier.
See, this is really interesting to me because it really is I wonder if it's collaboration, because I am excited pretty much every day when I write pretty much anything, and I actually just wrapped like I said, the first story for that Sean and I are writing for Lexi's line, Le Fleur de Blanc. I just wrapped that today, and that was the hardest so far because there was so much that I wasn't familiar with. Like I don't. Sean's the one who owned a flower shop. Sean's the one who knows about food, and it was just very herky jerky. There's nothing supernatural in it, so I didn't have.
Yeah, it was our first story ever with just people. There's no supernatural element to it, and there's really no big shocking climax. It's all just like people being people, which I think is one of the things I love most about it, because the feelings in it are very real. But also, supernatural stuff's kind of a trick. Like it allows you to color outside the lines very easily, and this was a little harder than that. But I like it. I mean, it challenged us in the right ways.
But even that is, like I said, I wonder if it's collaboration. I wonder if having a community does help for a lot of people, because it's kind of like having a partner or having an accountability, somebody you talk to, a spouse. Just who you're talking to, because with LaFleur, more than any other book so far, I needed Sean. Like I mean, not only did he write the beats and all that stuff, but I needed him as support during the book. Like I was like, dude, I don't know, I'm kind of out of my element in this, and it was before he was even able to catch up and read it, because he was doing some other stuff. So Sean couldn't even keep up and say this is good. It's just like, well, I don't know. This could happen. This could happen. Keep going. But usually, it doesn't matter what I'm writing. It can be sci-fi. It can be horror. It could be whatever. It could be a mindfuck like Axis of Aaron. It's just there's always something interesting and exciting. So I don't know. But it did take a lot of train into that. But having partners makes a big difference.
It really does, because I am motivated. I can write on my own. But there's no doubt that I am so driven by my relationships. When Dave and I are writing anything, when it's my turn with copy, I want him to be happy. And when we have a story meeting, I want to hear him go, ooh, yeah, I want to be responsible for that feeling. Like I want to see his glee. When I'm writing beats for Johnny, like my number one job is to impress him. I want him to laugh. Dude, and spoiler alert, the Dream Engine 2 beats are not funny at all. But the other side of that is, if he doesn't laugh, I want him to be impressed. I want him to be wowed. The Axis beats were not funny at all, but I got the wow I was looking for. And so maybe the takeaway is that even if you're not a part of a community, and even if you're not collaborative writing, because collaborative writing is something that is very unique. Like that is, you really need a solid relationship, and I don't think that's something you can just do. But you can
offer that what you said about trying to impress me, I do the same, and it's a different kind, because I'm handing over draft. Like I said, I finished LaFleur, I figured out the end. It's a cool climax that we figured out. And so I said, yeah, I got to know when you read that. Here's what I want. I just want, yeah, that's awesome. That's all I want. So I think that if you are a solo writer, if you have somebody, if your spouse likes to read, if your brother or sister, your mother, then maybe you can get those kudos there. I mean, a lot of people are, not everybody, but a lot of people are driven just by validation. Yeah, you did good.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. And it's like, even if you're not, okay, so whenever we're writing, one of the core principles of writing a great story, or selling that great story, is to know who you're writing for, right? So maybe if you have your ideal reader in mind as you're starting, you just need to touch base with them more and more. I know that the hardest Dave ever had writing a project was Available Darkness Season 2. And the hardest I ever had writing a project across any line, anything ever, was Threshold. I got the least enjoyment out of that book. And the common denominator between those two books were we didn't really have a lot of story meetings around them, and we weren't really a part of the process for one another. Now, even though Yesterday's Gone, Dave did all the heavy lift draft on this latest season, but we had a lot of story meetings, and we were always talking about the story. So we were really able to feel each other's mutual enthusiasm. Available Darkness Season 2, Dave he wanted to go in the corner and do it. He's like, no, I got it. I got this. But that ended up, when it was all over and we were reflecting on what could have been done better, story meetings would have helped. And so I think that even if you don't have story meetings where you're actually creating something with somebody, or you're not trading drafts, like that is a different level of the process for sure. But maybe you have somebody where you're just checking in with them, and it's more than a partner. It's almost like, because an accountability partner, that's a weigh-in. Like I wrote 8,000 words this week, and I'm happy with them. Like that's the end of the conversation. I don't think that's what we're talking about here. It's more somebody that you would call up and say, yeah, I did this, and this is what happened in the story, and you're just explaining it to them because that makes you feel good. You got it out, and it becomes more real in your mind, and you have something to tell them. What Dave said when he was a kid, and he was writing stories for other kids in class, and they were like, I want to know what happens next, and that gave him fuel, that drove him. And now it's about fulfilling his commitment to me and impressing me, but also it's about that somebody out there cares about the things that I'm saying, and I think that is something people can duplicate.
I just got an email from Kate Morgan. I won't read the email because she sent it personally, so I don't know what she'd want to say and not to say, but she did say there is a non-nano writing challenge that respects that you have a life. It's called A Round of Words in 80 Days, administered by an author. The challenge takes place in several 80-day rounds throughout the year. You declare your goals, check in on your progress once or twice a week. Moreover, you're permitted to adjust your goals as life happens, as life tends to do. They get together, they discuss their processes and challenges, and she's met a lot of great writers through it. The website is a round, like ROUND, of words in 80 days.wordpress.com if you want to check that out. Awesome. I haven't checked it out though, so if it sucks, don't yell at me. But
so I think we'd better move to Better Off Undead. We're going to be talking to Ray Chase again. We're going to be talking about Birdemic 2.
Oh, I thank you all for making me watch that.
Oh man, that's so awesome.
Such an experience. Yeah. So we're going to go do that. But our NaNoWriMo is, like I said, the Dream Engine 2, and we're doing Fiction Unboxed 1.5. If you're one of the Platinum readers, which used to be Sterling and Stoners, there's a half-off coupon in your members library. The rest of you, if you're interested, it's you'll find it on the sterlingandstone.net blog. We've had a few posts. So I guess that's it. Unless we have any other things to add. No. Okay. All right. I won't give you the chance to actually respond to that. I'll just roll past you because my microphone's all fucked up. But thanks for tuning into the Self-Publishing Podcast. If you'd like to get our best advice without all the off-topic bullshit, be sure to check out our book, Write, Publish, Repeat: The No Luck Required Guide to Self-Publishing Success, at selfpublishingpodcast.com/WPR. And if you've ever wanted to see how a novel really gets written from A to Z, you can watch us write one with nothing held back at fictionunbox.com. Every little bit shown. So thanks so much for listening, and we will see you all next week.